Married 10 years. Wife cheating and confronted her. My wife and I have been married for 10 years, we have 3 children, and we have a wonderful relationship. Up until approximately 3 days ago, she was my best friend. My phone was using a large quantity of data. It turned out to be a mobile app. It's not a huge deal. When I pick up the consumption statistics, though, it automatically pulls up phone calls first. At 2 a.m., I notice a 45-minute phone call to an unknown number. So I search up the number, how many calls, how long, and so on. It turns out that there have been 37 calls to this number, 25 of which had come after I had fallen asleep in bed. Many of them around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and 4 a.m. she was accosted by me. She has a new, excellent, work with a highly clever employer who she admires, and made this clear to me. I've always had faith in her. All of her phone calls were to her employer. He called only 3 or 4 times. She said that everything they discussed was work-related. I insisted on it many times. Regardless, I know some of the evenings we had a few toddies, weekends. She again lied to me 2 months ago when she stated she went jogging alone at 5:30 a.m. She did, but he eventually showed there and said that he couldn't run that early. It's not a huge thing since she told me she was jogging with him, but when she came back, she maintained he hadn't even shown up. So what's the point of lying about it? It's very strange. I confronted her about it, and she said that she loves me and only has affections for me, and that she would not ruin her and his careers by cheating. She is more concerned about what she might lose than with how much she loves me. He has a high-end sports vehicle and is married with 2 children. My wife told him he needed to send her conference updates while he was on business. He eventually sends her a photo of a $750K automobile he is considering purchasing. She shows me, but it's still strange that he's texting this to his employee, right? Aside from that, she disabled messaging on her iPad and her home computer. She also reset the passwords for this account. I forced her to show me the text she had sent to him, since she had deleted them all. So what now? Was she also having a physical affair? She states unequivocally that it was all about business. I would remark that she is to school and learning, which is not surprising. But the fact that he was responsive to her calls in the middle of the night is troubling. Update: 4 days after I discovered it. We've been conversing for a few days now, and squabbling and so forth. She says that she loves me, that she has only loved me, and that she will always love me. Nothing physical ever occurred. That the new job had gotten her worked up, that someone might have killed if she had put the incorrect item in, and that she contacted him late one night to make sure what she done was correct. This resulted in multiple late-night calls. She confesses to calling, but claims she never emotionally cheated since it was for business. She has no affections for him, and their relationship has been and continues to be strictly business. That's okay. I am rational, and this seems to be fair. She willingly handed me her iPhone and instructed me to put spyware on it. I informed her that I would be retrieving all of the communications, and she agreed it was great. So, am I being too dramatic? But why would they be erased if they weren't incriminating? She claimed she didn't believe I'd like it if I found out she was messaging him. I said 1. Do you think I prefer to find out you deleted all of the messages? 2. Why should I worry if it was all professional? She's apologized about 1,000,000 times and promised it won't happen again, but I can't get over the messages being erased. It'll be interesting to see whether she deleted them when I phoned her at work to inquire about the number. If she deleted them immediately after I phoned, the text will very certainly be. Update 2, the messaging hasn't stopped. The phone calls ceased. So, without going into too much detail, since this could go on forever, she continued to get messages from him for the previous 7 months. He sent her a few of texts asking if he could purchase her lingerie and complimenting her on her physique. She responded by text message. Don't put me to the test, she said. He said, I'd love to put you to the test. Throughout the night, everything was rescued by me. We still had a terrific relationship, love yous, kisses every morning, and while this was going on, they then attended a seminar together a few weeks ago. When I phoned, she hung up. Then she phoned him from her room to his room, so it wouldn't show up on phone records. Detail here. He contacted her from a mobile phone that didn't belong to him, so I couldn't trace it. He comes there. I also have the whole audio for this. When she arrived home, I listened. She froze like an ice cube. I couldn't believe what was going on and how much I knew. Things got a little hairy, no violence, just yelling and screaming. I walked away. She spent a few days with her parents' children, she returned, willing to work things out. Counseling was agreed upon. I'm a freaking disaster. I'm at a loss on what to do. I adore her. I think she's my soulmate. She said that they had both messed up and that they were here making things happen together. With the thrill and rush of it all, yada yada, but he's a predator. They continue to collaborate, albeit far less. What the heck am I going to do? He claims to have informed his wife, but I've seen the chats, and it looks he didn't tell her everything, like the part where they have, which is pretty clear on the audio. Story 2. Should I consider myself cheated on, or where do I even begin? Long story short, my ex, let's call her B, behaved strangely and left me a few weeks after our 10th anniversary. Up with a colleague I was suspicious of previously almost immediately. Tried to mend things the following day, but I found out about the meetup via her friends. B and I had been dating for 10 years, got engaged in 2018, purchased a home together that year, and truly began our lives together. We celebrated our anniversary in July, went on a vacation, and had a great time in my thoughts, haha. When we returned, she seemed strangely silent and aloof. She went home from work one night and her phone was blowing up, and she noticed it was this man she worked with. Let's call him Jay, and she doesn't conceal or had never tried to. And it was these, "Oh, you lookin' really nice, you been hitting the gym" texts, dude definitely spewing some game. That kind of thing. B, as beautiful as she is, has always struggled with image insecurities. So I knew she enjoyed the attention. It made me feel uncomfortable. When I confronted her about it, she made a huge deal out of it, saying, "I'm insecure, stop worrying." The reversal is the first red flag. Then, a week later, when her phone suddenly stops making sounds, I come home and say flatly, "I want to split up, I'm not happy." That was the end of it. There was no talk, no explanation, and I couldn't even get a word in edgewise. In 30 seconds, everything changed. I go stay at a friend's place for a few nights, and we're still messaging and everything, nothing nasty or anything, just conversing. She goes black for a few hours at random, then phones me at 3 a.m. to say, "Sorry, I fell asleep, I'm going to take a shower." Plus, I know her best. When she takes a 20-minute sleep, she can't talk for 2 hours. When she phoned, it sounded like she had taken a large dose of meth. I fall asleep, and when I wake up at 7 a.m., there are messages from our very good mutual girlfriend telling me to contact her. Thank goodness for friends like these, because it was her informing me that B up with Jay, and that B was going to try and mend things later when I dropped over to get some stuff, since the up wasn't what she anticipated. And the man was a real jerk afterwards, which I was somewhat glad about. We had our argument over it, and all I got was, "Well, we broke up, and I didn't cheat on you." "I'm not a cheater, I simply abandoned you for a week of free," she's been saying. Sure, we were broken up for less than a week, and I'm not going to lie, I did my thing a week into the breakup. But I feel like her was a planned ordeal, and she had her intentions a long time ago, and I found out they'd been texting and hanging out long before the anniversary trip, but nothing physical. We haven't gotten back together, and B still calls me to speak and change things up. So, to go back to the primary point, we weren't together, but was I cheated on, are still hurting me many months later. That's cold as, and I'm still trying to figure out how someone could toss away a stable relationship for a fling.